And I remember, like, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but, like, I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside.
Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest a guy who came to New York to turn himself in.
You won't believe this, but it looks like Sean Diddy Combs' mother may have just pulled off the ultimate plot twist in his ongoing legal drama. Picture this. The hip-hop mogul, facing mountains of accusations, nearly escaped to Mexico in a covert plan masterminded by his own mom. The whole thing reads like a page out of a suspense novel. But in this case, the stakes are real. Not only does Diddy face serious charges that could put him away for years, but now his mother's involvement in this alleged escape attempt might just land her behind bars too. So let's unpack this bombshell development layer by layer, because this saga just keeps getting wilder.
Diddy's mom has finally spoken out amidst everything that is happening right now. Janice Small Combs provided a statement to some outlets via her attorney. So she starts off by saying it's very heartbreaking to see her son judged not for the truth, but for a narrative created out of lies.
Just when you think things couldn't get any more intense, Diddy's legal troubles are blowing up to a whole new level. First, he's hit with charges that are serious enough to make anyone's head spin: racketeering, trafficking accusations, and a mountain of allegations about his private parties. But now reports are surfacing that his mother, yes, his own mother, was involved in a plan to get him out of the country.
Mom's gonna always
Whatsoever.
ride for their babies.
Yep.
Yeah,
You can get sentenced to 100 years for killing 27 million people, and they'll be like, but that's my baby, or he's not the person y'all betrayed him to be.
Yeah, she mentioned have his day in court and speak his piece, and you know that you had reported that his attorney said Diddy's going to take the stand. I'm just really trying to figure out, what is he going to say?
Diddy's mother, Janice Combs, has always stood by her son. She's been vocal about her love and support, even calling the accusations against him a public witch hunt. And with the two of them so close, it makes sense that she'd want to help him out. But it seems like her loyalty may have gone a step too far this time. According to the latest revelations, Janice allegedly orchestrated a secret escape plan that would have seen Diddy slip away from the authorities and head straight for Mexico. Now, you might be wondering how they could possibly pull this off. After all, it's not like Diddy's someone who can just blend in with the crowd. But if these reports are true, then it sounds like this was one carefully crafted plot with his mother right in the center of it all.
Took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
So how did this all come to light? Apparently, federal agents were already on high alert after his initial bail hearing, which took place in September. During that hearing, the judge shocked everyone by denying bail, citing the severity of the charges and the significant risk that Diddy might flee. But the real kicker came during a second hearing, where more details emerged. The FBI, as it turns out, had been watching closely. They reportedly uncovered evidence that Diddy's mother had arranged everything from the getaway car to a safe house, all the way down to the last detail. If this is true, then she was in this up to her neck. The authorities say that had they not been one step ahead, Diddy might already be sipping margaritas in a hidden beachside villa.
If you got to run to a private island because your evil doings are doing so much and they storming your house, it's one of these.
And you can't blame the judge for not wanting to take any chances this time. Diddy's legal team tried to argue that he'd be better off under house arrest, but the court wasn't having any of it. In fact, the judge seemed even more resolute after these latest allegations. They made it clear that, with this new information, releasing Diddy would be out of the question. One look at the evidence of the escape plan, and the judge was convinced. This guy wasn't going anywhere but back to his cell. So there he is, still sitting in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, while his mother might soon find herself in hot water too.
Now, if the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
But let's talk about Janice for a moment. This isn't the first time she's come to her son's defense, although her methods have usually been a little less dramatic. After Diddy was initially taken into custody, Janice released an emotional statement painting a picture of a loving mother watching her son be torn apart by accusations she called cruel lies. She spoke about the hardship of watching what she described as a public trial by fire, and she practically begged for the public to hold back their judgment. But now, with this escape attempt allegedly tied to her, Janice's reputation is taking a hit too. She's gone from being seen as a concerned, loving mother to being implicated in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse with the authorities.
Having somebody not to ask like manly advice, and just things that you would ask your father. Also things that you would celebrate with him, that would make him proud, you know. And, my father was a hustler, you know.
So what's next for Janice? Well, if these accusations hold up, she might be facing some serious legal consequences of her own. That's right. She could very well be looking at charges that could put her behind bars too. Now, the full details of the alleged escape plan are still murky, but it's clear that this development has thrown a major wrench into Diddy's defense strategy.
Just incredible. And, it brings into context our whole system of innocent till proven guilty. Why is he not being given bond? And, we could debate that all day long. Of all people that's unlikely to flee or get away, well, he's got the resources to flee, but he's so recognizable. And isn't he innocent till proven guilty? Well, yeah, but, we have to recognize there are degrees of innocent till proven guilty. When you have this much...
But this isn't just about Diddy and his mom. This case has implications for his entire family. It's already been a roller coaster for his kids, who have watched their father go from receiving Lifetime Achievement Awards to being dragged through the mud with these charges. And now, with their grandmother potentially facing charges as well, the situation has gone from bad to worse. For his children, who have been living in the spotlight thanks to Diddy's fame, this is yet another scandal that will likely follow them for years to come. Let's not forget that Diddy's life behind bars isn't exactly a walk in the park. As you probably know, he currently locked up in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, a place notorious for its harsh conditions and history of violence. Reports describe the jail as being practically a living nightmare. Inmates are often subject to long stretches in isolation, poor living conditions, and limited access to basic amenities. In other words, it's a far cry from the lifestyle that Diddy has been accustomed to.
Now, so what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that? As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released.
For a guy used to luxury cars, private jets, and red carpet events, the transition must be brutal. Imagine going from a life where you can pretty much do whatever you want, whenever you want, to being locked in a cell for most of the day. His jail experience is undoubtedly a shock to the system. Word has it that Diddy, who once ruled the world of hip-hop with an iron grip, now faces the daily grind of prison life. Gone are the tailored suits and designer shades. In their place are standard-issue jumpsuits and a daily routine that leaves little room for anything but survival.
I mean, it's a legitimate concern. No judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day. Oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes. And sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago, it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
This isn't just about being uncomfortable. It's a full-blown test of endurance. Diddy is said to be struggling with the intense conditions. He's dealing with overcrowded cells, and there's even talk of him having to deal with threats from other inmates. It's no secret that celebrities often find themselves targeted in prison, and someone like Diddy, who's got a high-profile persona and deep pockets, would be no exception. If anything, he's got an even bigger target on his back.
That clearly there is a criminal investigation underway and that they believe that there would be evidence of crimes in one or both of these homes.
To make matters worse, the judge's decision to deny him bail has only heightened the pressure on Diddy. He's stuck in a place where he has to watch his back every day, and there's no telling what might happen next. This isn't a situation where he can call his legal team and make things go away with a few calls or a hefty check. He's deep in the system now, and it's a whole different game. This latest twist with his mother only makes things harder for him. The pressure must be mounting like never before.
That this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
In fact, insiders say that the pressure to escape might have been too much for him, leading to this alleged plot. You've got to wonder what was going through his mind as he contemplated this escape plan. Did he really think he could make it out? Or was this a desperate move fueled by the hopelessness of his situation? With so much on the line, it's easy to see why he might have been tempted to run. After all, the charges he's facing are no small matter. He could be looking at a long time behind bars if things don't go his way. And let's be honest, escaping to Mexico might have seemed like the only way out. Now, imagine the scene if he had actually managed to slip away. Would he have gone into hiding, evading authorities while trying to figure out his next move? Or would he have tried to rebuild his empire from the shadows? Whatever the plan was, it's clear that things didn't work out the way he or his mother might have hoped. Instead, they're now both tangled up in a web of legal trouble that seems to get more complicated by the day.
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
As for Janice, the irony of the situation is almost too much to bear. Here's a mother who would do anything for her son, going to great lengths to protect him from what she sees as an unjust system. And yet, her loyalty could now be the very thing that brings her down. She tried to help him escape his problems, but now she's got problems of her own. And with the FBI keeping a close eye on her, there's no telling what other details might come to light. So as we sit back and watch this drama unfold, you have to wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. Is this just the tip of the iceberg? Are there more twists and turns to come? One thing's for sure, with each new revelation, the plot thickens and the stakes get even higher. Diddy and his mother may have thought they could outsmart the system, but it looks like the system is catching up with them. And with this latest development, Diddy's fate seems more uncertain than ever. Will he be able to clear his name, or is he destined to face the consequences of his actions? And what about his mother? Will she end up paying the price for her loyalty to her son? These are the questions that keep us all on the edge of our seats, wondering what will happen next in this high-stakes drama that shows no signs of slowing down.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry, and that he was being used by...
As if things weren't chaotic enough, let's take a deeper look at what's really fueling the fire around Diddy's current legal situation. This isn't just about the recent escape plot or even the serious accusations he's facing now. No, Diddy's been wrapped up in rumors, conspiracy theories, and shady dealings for years. And if we're being honest, his past may be the key to understanding just how deep this rabbit hole goes. Diddy's no stranger to controversy. He's built a career surrounded by it. From the flashy parties to the high-profile relationships, there's always been something swirling around him, but nothing compares to the mess he's in now. Let's not forget, this isn't the first time Diddy's faced legal trouble, but the stakes have never been this high. So how did we get here? How did someone who once seemed untouchable with an empire worth billions fall so far, so fast?
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
The accusations against Diddy are staggering. For years, there have been whispers and allegations about what really went on behind the scenes at his infamous parties, including his notorious white parties where only the elite were invited. People said those events were more than just flashy gatherings for celebrities. There were rumors that they were wild, exclusive affairs with shocking things happening behind closed doors. Now, with these new accusations, it seems like those whispers are becoming louder and harder to ignore.
The issue is, it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
He is accused of frequently beating her and would hide her in hotel rooms for days until the bruising and signs of abuse were gone.
It's not just the parties either. People have long speculated that Diddy had a much darker side. Stories of manipulation, betrayals, and power plays have followed him for years. And while some of it seemed like the usual drama that comes with fame, now everything's under a much harsher spotlight. The rumors of illegal activities have only intensified with these current accusations. Could it be that all the stories that were once dismissed as exaggerations were actually closer to the truth than anyone realized? Adding to the drama are the conspiracy theories that have surrounded Diddy for years. One of the most persistent rumors is that Diddy has secretly been working with the FBI, acting as an informant for years to protect his empire. It sounds wild, but when you think about it, there are people who find it pretty convincing. After all, Diddy's managed to stay on top for decades, even as others around him have crumbled under legal pressure or scandals. The theory goes that Diddy was quietly cooperating with federal authorities, giving them information in exchange for avoiding prosecution himself.
You know, I think in federal court and for these charges, they would say it's routine, but in the public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail.
Now, we're not saying that this theory is true, but it's worth noting just how deep this conspiracy goes. People have pointed to Diddy's ability to walk away from situations that would have destroyed anyone else. Remember when he faced charges in the early 2000s related to that infamous nightclub incident? Everyone thought that would be the end of his career, but somehow he came out of it almost unscathed. It left a lot of people wondering how he managed to pull it off, and that's where the rumors about his supposed deal with the feds really started to gain traction. Some folks believe that Diddy has been playing a long game, keeping himself out of trouble by cooperating behind the scenes.
That's of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers.
But here's where things get interesting. If this theory is true, why didn't it protect him this time? Why is he now sitting behind bars denied bail, not once, but twice, with even his mother allegedly caught up in a plan to help him escape? Could it be that Diddy's luck has finally run out, or did something else change? There's speculation that maybe, just maybe, Diddy outlived his usefulness to the people who were supposedly protecting him. Or worse, that they turned on him, setting him up to take the fall for reasons we might never fully understand. The idea that Diddy might have been shielded from facing consequences for years because of some kind of secret arrangement is pretty chilling. It would mean that all the accusations, all the controversies were just the tip of the iceberg, and the real story is much bigger than anyone imagined. But even if these theories are nothing more than speculation, they've certainly played a role in shaping how people view Diddy now. His image has gone from being a successful music mogul to someone who's been walking a tightrope for years, and now it seems like he's finally lost his balance.
It's just interesting to me that with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone.
One of the biggest shifts in Diddy's world has been the reaction of those closest to him. We're talking about people who've been part of his inner circle for years. Business partners, former friends, and collaborators who've all suddenly started to distance themselves from him. It's almost like they saw the writing on the wall and decided to jump shit before things got worse. That's got to be a massive blow to Diddy, who's always prided himself on being a master of relationships and influence. Take, for example, his business deals. Diddy has long been a major player in the worlds of fashion, entertainment, and spirits, with partnerships that helped solidify his status as a mogul. But as these allegations have mounted, those same companies have started to pull back. Several major brands that once proudly featured Diddy as a spokesperson or collaborator have quietly severed ties. This isn't just a business decision. It's a signal that Diddy's influence might be crumbling. These companies don't want to be associated with someone facing the kind of accusations that are now part of Diddy's reality. Former friends have also started speaking out. People who were once loyal to Diddy are now sharing stories that paint a very different picture of the man who once commanded so much power in the entertainment industry. Some are calling him controlling and manipulative, saying that his empire was built on fear and intimidation. Others are staying silent, but their absence speaks volumes. The fact that so many people have chosen to walk away rather than stand by him is a huge red flag, and it raises questions about just how deep these issues really go.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
And then there's the question of whether Diddy's recent actions were the result of feeling trapped or whether this was part of a much bigger strategy. The escape plan, if it's true, would suggest that Diddy knew he was in over his head and was looking for a way out. But if you believe the rumors about his past, it's possible that this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. Some people think Diddy may have been planning this for a while, preparing for the day when his empire finally started to crumble and the authorities closed in.
And let me tell you something else. Not only should he have apologized to Cassie in that video, he should have apologized to all of the general public that he lied to.
Of course, we can't ignore the fact that Diddy's own history is filled with unanswered questions. Take, for example, the rumors surrounding the passing of his father. For years, there has been speculation about how much Diddy really knows about the circumstances of his father's demise. Some say that Diddy has always been haunted by the past and that his rise to fame was, in part, a way to escape that shadow. But others believe that Diddy's past holds secrets that could explain a lot about the way he's conducted himself over the years.
Had clients describe NBC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
This is where things get even more twisted. Some conspiracy theorists suggest that Diddy's current legal troubles are part of a larger plot, one that goes back decades. They believe that Diddy's rise to power wasn't just about talent and business smarts, but that he had help from some very powerful people who had their own reasons for keeping him at the top. According to these theories, Diddy's downfall was inevitable, and the escape plan was just the latest move in a long game of survival.
There are some problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
What's clear is that Diddy's reputation has taken a serious hit, and the ongoing accusations only add fuel to the fire. These days, people are starting to look at Diddy not just as a music mogul, but as someone who's been playing a dangerous game for a long time. And while he's managed to avoid serious consequences in the past, it seems like those days might be over. One of the most intriguing aspects of this story is the way it mirrors other high-profile cases. We've seen plenty of powerful figures in entertainment, business, and politics face accusations only to fight their way out of them, sometimes with money, sometimes with influence. But in Diddy's case, something feels different. Maybe it's the sheer weight of the accusations or the fact that people close to him are finally starting to speak out. Or maybe it's because Diddy himself seems to be losing control of the narrative for the first time in his career.
This has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
As the legal battles continue, there's a growing sense that we're only scratching the surface of this story. Diddy's life has always been larger than life, but now it feels like we're watching the unraveling of something much bigger than just a celebrity scandal. The fact that even his own mother was allegedly involved in the escape plot makes this more than just a personal downfall. It's becoming a full-blown saga that could have lasting repercussions for everyone involved. One of the biggest questions hanging over all of this is whether Diddy ever truly believed he could outrun the law. Did he think his connections, his money, and his influence would be enough to shield him from facing consequences? Or was he playing a game of chess, trying to stay one step ahead of those who've been after him for years? If the escape plot is any indication, it seems like Diddy might have realized too late that his usual methods weren't going to work this time. As we watch this drama unfold, it's hard not to wonder what's coming next. Will more people from Diddy's inner circle come forward with new revelations? Are there other players involved in this story that we haven't even heard about yet? And most importantly, is this the beginning of the end for one of the most influential figures in the entertainment industry? Let us know in the comments what you think about this complicated and wild story. Until next time, stay curious,